I never thought the person who would hurt me the most in this life would be part of my own family. Not a stranger, not a friend, my own daughter-in-law. My name is Mariam, and I am the mother of one son. His name is Arif. For many years, it was just the two of us. His father died when Arif was 10, and from that day, I became both mother and father. I worked long hours, came home tired, cooked simple meals, and helped him with homework at the kitchen table. We did not have much, but we had each other, Arif used to say. One day, Mom, I'll buy you a big house and you'll never worry again. I always smiled and said, I don't need a big house. I just need you to visit me. He would laugh and hug me, and in those hugs, I felt safe. Years passed. Arif finished his studies, found a job, and slowly our lives became a little more comfortable. He still came home every weekend, still asked if I had eaten, still brought me small gifts like fruits or my favorite tea. I thought, foolishly, that it would always be like that. Then he met her. Her name was Nadia. The first time he mentioned her, his voice changed. It was softer, almost shy. He said, Mom, there's someone I want you to meet. She's special. My heart was happy for him. I prayed he had found a kind woman, someone who would love him and build a peaceful home with him. The day I met Nadia, I cooked Irif's favorite dishes. I wore my best dress. The one he always said made me look elegant. When the doorbell rang, I wiped my hands quickly and went to open it with a smile. Arif walked in first, tall and confident, and behind him stood a young woman in a simple but stylish outfit. She was beautiful, calm face, serious eyes. She gave me a small, polite smile. Mom, this is Nadia, Arif said proudly. Assalamu alaikum, dear, I said, opening my arms slightly, ready to hug her. She stepped forward, but instead of hugging, she extended her hand. Wa alaikum assalam, Auntie. It's nice to meet you. Her hand was light in mine. Her eyes did not stay long on my face. They moved around the house quickly, like she was inspecting it. I told myself she was just shy. Many girls are nervous when they first meet their boyfriend's mother, so I tried to make her comfortable. I asked about her family, her job, her hobbies. She answered politely, but always in short sentences. She rarely looked directly at me during dinner. Arif praised my cooking, as he always did. But when I asked Nadia, "Do you like it, dear?" she smiled and said, "Yes, it's good. A bit oily, but nice." It was a small comment, so small that maybe another person would forget it. But a mother feels these tiny cuts. Still, I swallowed my pride and said, "Next time, I'll make it lighter for you." As months passed, Arif and Nadia grew closer. He talked less about work and more about her. He called a little less often, but I understood. He was in love. That is normal. I waited for the day he would tell me what I already knew was coming. One afternoon, he came home with flowers and a nervous smile. "Mom," he said, "I asked Nadia to marry me. She said yes." I hugged him tightly. "Alhamdulillah, I am happy for you, my son." He told me about the wedding plans, the guest list, the hall her family liked. I tried to offer help, but most of the arrangements were handled by Nadia's parents. When I suggested something, Nadia would say very politely, "It's okay, Auntie. We've already decided." She always called me Auntie, never Mom, never even Amu or something closer, just Auntie. As if I was a neighbor, not the woman who raised the man she was about to marry. On the wedding day, I watched my son stand beside her, proud and happy. They looked beautiful together. I cried, not from sadness, But from the heavy mix of love and fear, I prayed, Ya Allah, give them peace, give us understanding. After the wedding, they moved into a rented apartment across town. At first, I visited once a week. I always called before going. I would bring food, some fruit, or small things for their home. The first few times, Nadia welcomed me politely, offered tea, and smiled in that controlled way of hers. But little by little, I began to notice her shoulders stiffen when I arrived. If I spent too long in the kitchen helping, she would say, Auntie, you can sit, I'll manage. If I washed dishes, she would redo them after I left. One day, I brought Arif's favorite lentil curry. As I unpacked it, Nadia said, Thank you, but we're trying to eat healthier. Too much heavy food is not good. It's just once in a while, I said gently. He always loved this. Yes, she replied, still polite, but he's changing his habits now. I looked at Arif, thinking he might say, It's okay, I like Mom's food. But he just smiled weakly and said nothing. Later, when I reached home, I wondered if I had done something wrong. Was I interfering too much? Was I visiting too often? I didn't know. No one told me clearly. There were only these small, tight smiles and cool comments. Things became worse when Nadia became pregnant. Arif called me one evening, his voice full of joy. Mom, you're going to be a grandmother. Tears filled my eyes. Really? Oh, my son, this is such beautiful news. I imagined helping, holding the baby, teaching little prayers, singing old lullabies I sang to Arif. I thought maybe this baby would bring us closer. But from the very beginning, I felt the opposite. When I suggested going with them to a doctor's visit, Nadia said, It's okay, Auntie. It's something just for me and Arif. When I bought small baby clothes and showed them excitedly, she said, We already ordered everything online, but thank you. I kept those clothes folded in my cupboard. Near the end of the pregnancy, I went to visit with some soup. Nadia was sitting on the sofa, tired. I gently touched her shoulder and said, How are you feeling, dear? She moved slightly away. I'm okay, she said, just tired. Do you want me to stay and help? I can clean, cook. No, Auntie, she said, her tone firmer now. We're fine. Arif stood in the kitchen. He heard. He said nothing. The day Nadia went into labor, Arif called me from the hospital. Mom, pray for us, he said. It's taking time. I asked, should I come there? He hesitated. Nadia's mother is already here. The room is full. Maybe you can come tomorrow, I whispered. Okay, my son, I'll pray. The next morning, I went early. When I entered the room, Nadia's mother was holding the baby girl. Nadia was resting. Arif smiled, tired but happy. Mom, this is Hannah, he said, my granddaughter, my heart. I moved closer slowly. The baby was so small, her face like a tiny flower. I reached out my hands, but Nadia's mother did not hand her to me. She just smiled politely and rocked her. After some time, a nurse walked in and said cheerfully, Shall Grandma hold the baby? Nadia's mother laughed. I am holding her already. The nurse looked confused, then glanced at me. What about other Grandma? There was a small pause. Nadia looked at me, then at her mother, then quietly said, It's okay. You can give her to Auntie for a minute. Auntie not Grandma, just Auntie. The nurse placed Hannah gently in my arms. I held her like something sacred. My eyes filled with tears as I whispered, Welcome, little one. I am your grandmother. It was a beautiful moment, but it was short. After a minute, Nadia's mother reached out and said, She might get cold. Give her back. I smiled and handed her over, willing myself not to show pain. As months went by, my visits became less welcome. I called before coming. Sometimes Nadia would say, "Today is not a good day, Auntie. We're tired." Other times, when I did visit, she would check the time often or say, "We have plans soon." The worst day came when Hannah was around 6 months old. I had made a small meal and some soft baby food. Arif told me passingly, "You can come by in the afternoon if you want." So I did. When I rang the bell, Nadia opened the door halfway. She did not step aside. "Auntie," she said, "we really need to talk." My hands felt suddenly cold. "Yes, dear?" She took a breath, her tone calm but hard. "We feel like you are coming too often, and sometimes you do things without asking, like bringing food, giving advice. It makes me uncomfortable. This is my home, and I need to feel in control here." I swallowed. "I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. I only wanted to help." She continued. "Also, Hannah gets confused with too many people holding her. I need you to give us space, for some time, until I feel better." My voice shook a little. "How long is some time?" "I don't know," she said, "but for now, please don't visit unless we invite you." Behind her, I saw Arif standing, his face pale. Our eyes met. I hoped he would say, "No, that is too much." But he looked away. That hurt more than Nadia's words. I nodded slowly. "If that is what you want." "It's what I need," she replied. I turned and walked down the stairs. My legs felt heavy. The container in my hand suddenly felt too big. I reached home and placed the food on my own table. Unable to eat a bite that night, I cried. Not loud, dramatic crying, just quiet tears into my pillow, so no one but God would hear. Days passed, then weeks. I didn't call, I didn't go. I wanted to see if they would reach out. For a long time, they did not. Then one evening, there was a knock. When I opened the door, Arif stood there, holding Hannah. She had grown so much. She looked at me like a stranger. "Mom," he said softly, "I'm sorry." I stepped aside and let them in, my heart pounding. He sat on the sofa, Hannah on his lap. "Things have been tense," he said. Nadia was overwhelmed. She felt judged. She felt scared. "I tried to keep peace and ended up hurting you. I should have spoken up. I should have found a better way." I listened, my hands folded. "I miss you, Mom," he whispered, "and Hannah needs you. I need you." Tears filled my eyes. I looked at Hannah. She reached out a small hand toward my face. Curious, I took a gentle breath and said, "I never wanted to take your place or Nadia's. I only wanted to be part of your lives." He nodded. "I know that now Nadia is trying to understand, too. She wants to come and talk. Will you let her?" I hesitated only a second. "Yes," I said. "My door is open." A few days later, Nadia came. She looked different, less sure, more human. She sat at my table and spoke quietly. "Auntie, I was scared. I was scared you would do things better than me, that Hannah would love you more, that Arif would compare us. Instead of talking about my fears, I pushed you away. I am sorry." Her eyes were wet. I looked at her for a long moment. Then I said simply, "I forgive you, but trust grows slowly. We must both be gentle." She nodded. "I understand. Today, things are not perfect, but they are better. I see Hannah more often. She smiles when she sees me. Sometimes she reaches for me. Sometimes she cries and only calms in my arms. I do not take that as a victory over Nadia. I take it as a gift. Arif still visits, sometimes alone, sometimes with his family. Nadia and I are learning each other, step by step. She sometimes asks for advice now. She sometimes sends me pictures of Hannah's milestones. I have learned this. Not every betrayal comes from cruelty. Sometimes it comes from fear, fear of losing control, fear of not being enough, fear of sharing love. But love is not a limited thing. It does not run out. When you pour it into more hearts, it grows. I was hurt deeply by my daughter-in-law, but I chose not to let bitterness be the end of my story. Instead, I chose patience. I chose softness. I chose to leave my door open. And slowly, carefully, my family is walking back through it.